these are just regular treats now.
Oh, okay.
That was just because I was eating that.
Okay. I was like, that would be a spoiled dog. Yeah.
Just wanted to like you. Give you a chance.
We had another, Erin, she comes on Friday. She's a canine. Her husband is a police officer with a canine, and the canine is retired, and she brought, his name is Kubo, and she brought him to school. Kubo, the canine. Pretty cool dog.
That is really cool. And then he's really well behaved.
And there's a word that nobody knows the word. But her husband would say, you can deal with me or you can deal with Kubo. And he's like, everybody wants to deal with him.
Yeah, right?
You can like read, you can put like a PDF on it.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty sweet.
All right, guys. Welcome to session 3. So I always like to start these talks with where we've been, Then we'll talk about where we are now and also where we're going, because we talked about this earlier in the circle. It is a process. This work is kind of a system, and there's input going in, but we don't even know what's happening. And I want to give you an example of that. A few minutes ago when you were on break, Catherine handed me her phone and she said, do you want to read my notes? And so can I just, I'm not going to read them, but I just want to show. So after she left just last time, okay, these are her notes. All of these things happened since last time. So how could we ever be expected at the end of a session to know anything about what's happening? She went through so many things. I read them. So one day her knee released, the next day, I could just go on, but and the next day the sacrum popped into place. She had good days, she had bad days, but overall, we walk what walks in the door. So you finish your session and you let them go with love so they can have this huge experience. Most clients don't give you these details, but Catherine's been keeping track for us. And if any of you are interested, I'm sure she wouldn't mind if you looked at the notes, if anybody's interested. But the cool thing, and my point is that where she showed up today is nothing like the way she left, or the day after, or the day after. So, okay, so where have we been? We've been, session 1 was all about up. It was all about balancing the diaphragm, getting the head up on top of the shoulders, and then working and releasing some pelvic adhesions just so there's a base of support for the upper body. Session 2 was all about down, and it's giving the upper body a base of support now. And the main event for session 2 was all about balancing the 3 arches of the feet, right? And creating a foot that is more like a tensegrity foot than a block of ice or a brick, which most people are walking around on, right? So we've got up and we've got down. And now here we are at session 3. And this is the first time we're really thinking about this dimension of depth, kind of finishing up in the superficial world of fascia, a 3D body. Okay? So when you think about the size of the body, that's a crazy thing to think about, because there is no lateral vertical structure that creates the size of the body. And what really creates the size of the body is relationships of many, many muscles. And so I want to talk a little bit about the terrain map today, because The very first thing on that terrain map says lateral rib cage. So what's under your hands when you touch the lateral rib cage? Does anybody know from your studies, from your homework? Can you name a muscle here in the lateral part of your rib cage?
Serratus.
Serratus.
Intercostals.
There's intercostals, that's pretty deep. What's more superficial? What's
The abdominal, one of
called oblique?
Obliques, the obliques, like
We've got
internal
obliques, we've got internal oblique, we've got external oblique. What else we got here?
You look at lab.
We got some lat.
quadratus lumborum deep.
We've got some deep quadratus lumborum. How about pec? Pec major? It's coming up into the arm. So all of these structures make up the side of the body. And so what our job is, one of our intentions is to release the holding patterns in these structures so that we can get a lift in the ribs. How do we do that? Very simple. You're creating a bisecting line through the whole side of the body. Session 3 could be as simple as finding the line and spreading. And that would be a session 3, the whole side. We're going to get a little more creative than that. But that would be a session 3. Why? Because that, creating a midline, is going to give the ribs space to lift up and support the shoulder girdle. Okay? So an intention for session 3, a couple of intentions for session 3, and the main event for session 3 is this little 12th rib. There's 2 floating ribs here, number 11 and number 12. And all of the other ribs are connected with cartilage. See that? So a main event for session number 3 is to work and free the 12th rib from being glued to the pelvis. Just take your hands for a second and find the top of your iliac crest, and then go superior and posterior till you find that first lowest rib, number 12. Not a lot of room in there, is there? And what our goal is today in Catherine's body is to create as much space as we can between the 12th rib and the hip. Yep.
Why is it on Alfred? Like, there's so
I know.
much space. Is
I
it
know. There is no skeleton. You guys, you should really know this. There's no skeleton that actually is like a human body. Because in the real human body, nothing is as close together as these joints. Every joint is spaced between 2 bones. So take Alfred and just blow him up a little bit and imagine space everywhere. There are people that have quite a lot of space between their ribs and their hips, and there's a lot of people that have 0. Mostly you're going to find people that have no space. In fact, you might even find that these ribs are buried in the hip. So basically, you guys, I want to keep this so simple. This is the goal of the session. You're going to create as much length and balance as you can in the lateral ribs. You're going to drop the hip and balance the IT band and the hip, creating space between the ribs and the hip so that you can free the 12th rib and the quadratus lumborum. The muscle that is responsible for holding the 12th rib down in the pelvis, the quadratus lumborum, is a really interesting muscle because it has 3 layers. One layer goes from the rib to the hip. Another layer goes from the rib to the vertebra. And another layer goes from the vertebra to the hip. And those 3 layers are just plastered in there. And that's why in most cases it's fixed, fascially fixed and holding the rib way too close. What happens when the rib is too close to the hip?
Seems like a restricted movement.
Exactly. Transverse movement. Transverse movement can't happen. So what we're really in essence doing is creating space here so that person has more transverse movement in their body. So another goal for session 3, and why I sometimes say this session is a shoulder session, is because you're basically going to free a shoulder girdle that is probably glued to the ribs for so many different reasons. Injuries, repetitive strain, and even belief systems. How you should hold yourself. But in reality, a shoulder girdle is 3 bones. The clavicle, the scapula, and the humerus. And these 3 bones are only attached to the ribs in one spot, and that's right here. Everything else is soft tissue, which is why a scapula should have lots of different ranges of motion. Here's a picture of all the ranges of motion of a scapula. So what happens is that when this scapula is glued to the ribs, people move just their arms. And sometimes in a lot of the training classes or yoga classes, they will actually give the person a cue to lock a shoulder to the ribs and then raise the arm up. Well, we're going to get rid of that thought because it's not applicable and it's not helpful. Because in essence, the whole shoulder girdle should reach. The scapula should glide on the ribs. And that's a goal. We're going to free a scapula. Can you guys think of a muscle that you've already worked that would lead to holding of a scapula?
Subscapularis.
Subscapularis. And now we're going to add another one, the serratus anterior. Because the serratus anterior, it's attached to these ribs and only about an inch. Then the brain has sent a signal to that serratus not to attach here. Don't attach here. The only other place it's attached is right under the scapula. And so what's happening is the serratus anterior is getting glued to the ribs. You can feel it in almost everybody. So when we're doing our spreading work and our releasing work, we're literally creating a situation where the shoulder girdle can float above the ribs. And that's when we free the 12th rib from its connection to the pelvis, the ribs are going to stack up and create a really nice base of support for that shoulder girdle. So when I say to you, a goal for session 3 is to stack the blocks, right? What does that mean? What are the blocks? Anybody know? Want to take a guess?
Watch like the weight of head, shoulder, rib cage, pelvis, upper leg, lower leg, foot.
Yeah. We want the head to be balanced over the shoulders, over the hip, over the knee, over the ankle. In most cases, what you're going to see is a pelvis that's forward, or a shoulder girdle that's forward, or a block that's too far back. And all we have to do is create the space, and the ribs are going to lift, the shoulders are going to float, the hip is going to drop, and that 12th rib that is locking that pelvis in is going to actually move upward and create the space we need to have the blocks stack up. Any questions so far? Mm-hmm.
The one place where the shoulders attach to the ribs, that what
This is called the sternoclavicular joint.
Okay.
Sternum.
And what kind of attachment is that?
It's called a, what is that joint called? It's called a, not a hinge.
Yep.
I forget the kind of joint, but it's not the kind of joint, it's not a hinge joint, it's just a joint here. But you know, when the shoulder girdle rotates, right, the scapula and the clavicle rotate together. So it is a joint that is capable of movement. Obviously, otherwise we wouldn't be able to raise our arm up. So when your arm's going up, you can get to a certain point, but unless your scapula is free, it's very difficult to get the arm all the way up. And in either case, this joint, we'll look it up, I'll give you the name of the joint.
There's some connective tissue.
Synovial.
Oh, it is a synovial.
Synovial, yeah.
So there's fluid.
So yeah, so it can move. But it doesn't have a huge range of motion like a humerus. The humerus is one of the most adaptable joints in the whole body, even more so than the hip. Why? Because of weight bearing. But either one can get posturally fixed. And our job is to free all of the fascial postural fixations so that that body can go from something like this to something like this. And we are just working on these elastic bands. Don't worry about the bones. The bones are naturally going to find their way out as soon as you free up the fascia. So another way to look at it is that there's going to be short, tight, compressed fascia. And this is just one of those gems of structural integration. And if we have short, tight, compressed fascia here, it's going to push this block forward. If we have short, tight, compressed fascia here, it's going to push this block forward. If we have short, tight, compressed fascia here, it's going to push this block back. So all we're doing is spreading, melting, making it more homogeneous, and then don't worry. Trust the bones in the gravitational field. It will find its way without even you doing anything. Okay? So, yeah.
So when people have scapula that lean out, does that mean that, is that more like a muscle weakness issue or like adhesion issue?
So that it could be different things. My brain would first go to the pec minor as a structure that would cause a weaning of that scapula. But it's a lot of the muscles. It's an extreme anterior tilt. And anytime we have a tilt, whether it's anterior or posterior, there are muscles in the area that are just holding on. So you'll have to feel it to know what that is. Sometimes there's a nerve involved. But in our work, we don't really worry about nerves too much. We just know that nerves get really pissed off when they're stuck in tight fascia. So the work that you're doing is literally freeing the nerve. So you can really help someone when they have a super winged scapula. Okay? Any other questions so far?
How does the tilting of the scapula and clavicle relate to the head position?
Okay, so that's a little too far ahead. Let's talk about that in 7, but what I will tell you today is think of the head position as a block, okay? And just the work that I'm going to show you with the quadrants of the neck, it's going to help that head to find its way. There is a biomechanical thing, I just don't want to get into it, about the head position, and it relates to C7 and T1, which is the biomechanical piece. But let's look at it as a bigger picture for now, okay? Okay, so I also want to say a goal for this session is to free the pelvis. you're gonna see that people will either be posturally fixed with their pelvis tilted anterior. Does everybody understand that when a pelvis is tilted, oh, I was looking for the leg. When the pelvis is tilted, it's on the axis of the greater trochanter. So an anterior tilt is tilting forward and downward on the axis of the greater trochanter. And what's holding that is everything in the front. You remember the muscle, the tensor fascia lata, and you've got an IT band. If that pelvis is tilting forward, it's going to be pretty dense in the front. If the pelvis is tilting posterior on the axis of the greater trochanter, it's going to be more densely packed and holding in the back. The back of the greater trochanter, glutes, rotators, the back of the IT band. So, right? So your job as you're spreading and melting is you may work a little more. If it's tilting forward and you want to free that pelvis up, you may work a little bit more on the front. If it's tilting back, work a little more on the back. And then trust the shape of the bones and the gravitational field to let that pelvis find its way.
When the, like, if the pelvis is, oh my god, if a pelvis is tilted back,
Yeah.
would that, like, mean that that one person has very tight glutes?
Yes.
Yeah. Because I've been noticing that a lot in a lot of my models, their glutes are really tight because they kind of like shuffle.
Okay.
And they just kind of like walk with really tight butt.
Yeah. And so again, maybe the back of them is a little bit tighter. And as you're starting to work these structures, remember, we are still superficial here. This is actually the gateway section to the core. Why? Because the 12th rib is deeper. It's like saying hello to the core, which is coming in the next 4 sessions. All right, let me see if I'm anything else. Okay. This session, another goal is we talked about the shoulder, freeing the shoulder girdle from the ribs, but what about the arms? Everybody stand up for just a second and just let your arms hang. Shake your body out a little bit. Okay, now, just let your arms be still and you stand still. And bring your awareness to the space between your torso and your arms. And see if you can sense that one arm is different than the other arm. Maybe you're feeling more space on one side than the other side. And bring your awareness to your hips. And maybe you're feeling the space between your hips and your ribs is different, side to side. Maybe one side is shorter and one side is more spacious. And now slowly shift your weight into your right foot and allow your right side to start to shorten. And notice what your head does as that's happening. Notice what your shoulders do. Is there a twist happening? Come back to the center and slowly side bend to the other side. But as you're shortening, what's happening is you're lengthening the other side for the shortening to happen. Allow your right arm to start to float up. Now remember, you're not taking your arm up with muscles, you're allowing the clouds to lift your arm up. And just notice the line from your right ankle all the way up to your fingertips. It's a bigger line than we think. And then come on back to the center. What is it that lifts the shoulder? Everybody shrug your shoulders up, okay? And then feel your traps. Feel how tight that is? And now, reach with your left hand to your right scapula. Let your shoulders down. And see if you can move your scapula with your hand. See if you can use your lat to lift that shoulder up. Feeling any movement from below? Trap should be soft in this case. Let's try it. Let your arms hang. Imagine your arms are feathers and the clouds are lifting your arms up. Go so slow. And what I'll show you is allow your arms to go up, up, up by lengthening your sides. Lengthening the sides is what's floating your arms upward. These are your lats engaging. In order to turn off the traps, you have to get your client's lats online. That is a major goal in this session. To free the shoulder from its bondage to the ribs and to engage lats for movement. So functionally, movement-wise, one of the movement goals is to allow arm movement to come from the elbows. Like out and around. Like you're gonna, you know, the big redwood trees up in Northern California? It's like you could hug one of those big trees. Out and around. And every movement at home, you're turning off a light, out and around. You're doing dishes, out and around. You're driving your car. So when you see those clients with those huge traps, this would be a fantastic goal for session 3, is to get them out of the traps and more into their lats. And at the same time, allowing their arm movement and their shoulder movement to happen while the spine is held back. So out and around, but allow your spine to stay with you. You feel that? Solid, stronger, bigger than just raising your arms with your trap. Plus these muscles get too overworked. Okay, so goals, stacking the blocks, lifting up, free the shoulder girdle, drop the hips down, free the 12th rib, and then allow gravity to do its job. Trust the shape of the bones and the gravitational field. Okay? Terrain-wise, basically we've talked a little bit about the terrain. So lateral rib cage. I'm just looking at the terrain map to just quickly run through this with you guys. Iliac crest. We're thinking about the fascia above the crest, below the crest. If we're posturally fixed too much forward, it'll be the front of the hip more. If it's posterior, it'll be the back. But the point is, freeing the pelvis allows the ribs to rise up. You've already started it in session 1. So we're there again. Greater trochanter, we've been there. This time you're doing a little bit more discerning work, right? We're going to work more in the front as we're cleaning off the greater trochanter. Maybe more work in the back. You'll feel it. And if you don't feel it, you do the whole thing. IT band, been there before. Only the last time you were there with your elbow, right? This time, you're looking for a straight line and you're revealing the line by spreading and doing chevrons, okay? You'll see. We've got obliques in your homework. Did you guys talk to your educational advisor, faculty advisors about what happens with the obliques? No? Okay, let me go through that with you. The external oblique, the fibers are running this way. We talked a little bit about this before. Your hands are going into your front pockets. The internal oblique your hands are going into your back pockets. So if somebody is side bending and rotating, so everybody do this in your own body. Side bend right, rotate right. Your external oblique on the right is short, and your internal oblique on the left is short. See how that works? Touch it. Your right internal oblique has shortened, and your right external oblique has shortened, and your left internal oblique has shortened. And now let's do the other side. Side bend left, rotate right. Your left external oblique is short, and your right internal oblique is short. And that's what's holding these rotations. And remember, guys, rotations cause compression. Compression causes inflammation. And ultimately, inflammation causes pain. So when people have pain, what's compressed? What's too tight? What's pinching? What isn't moving? And these are some of those things. So to reveal a midline, we're going to start to work with these structures. We have the lateral rib cage balancing. It's as simple as, for the first couple years I worked, guys, I did a simple spreading. It works. It's beautiful. And then later, and I'll probably show you what I would normally do after many, many years, that you could get a little more specific. But when you're learning tomorrow with Steve, he's probably going to show you how to spread. I'll show you how to spread. But I also want to show you some little detail work you can do. And I will be showing you a little bit more about the serratus a little bit later today. We're going to do some palpation. How am I doing on time, Tara?
You have 20 minutes.
Okay. So, axilla. Who knows what the axilla is? We've been there before. See how these things just repeat? And now, when you go home and do session 1, it's easier. But here we are again at the axilla. We've got a subscap here. We've got the pec minor here, right? It's a little different positioning. But remember, one of our goals is to free the shoulder, so we're going to be working with these structures. There's another structure now that we're going to be thinking about, and that's the serratus anterior, but I want to hold off. That's a really cool muscle. I'll show you after lunch. We've got some shoulder tracking. Okay, so what that is just raise your shoulders to your ears for a second. You can try to use your lats, but the point is, sometimes when you tell a client to raise their shoulder to their ear, like they're saying, I don't know, the shoulder's going way forward. And so what you're going to do with this part of the work is you're going to track that shoulder straight. I'm going to show you how to do it. I'm going to show you how to anchor that shoulder. And then this is another key. We do this many times through the course of the series. You're going to hold, and they're going to work. And they're going to take their shoulder through your gait. Your gait is to keep the shoulder straight to their ear. There's other shoulder tracking things you'll see, and Steve will get. There's like 3 different things. There's one called chicken wing. There's one where you're reaching for the stars. There's some cool ones you can try. Remember, Steve will show you 3 or 4. You don't have to do all of them. You pick one. We have the teres major, teres minor. Who knows which one is a lateral rotator of the humerus? Teres minor. That's right. Good. So put your hand back in the back of your shoulder. Find the bottom of the arm where your arm meets your torso and the top of the shoulder, and find the place right in the middle. And that is your teres minor. Hold the teres minor while you rotate humerus lateral. And you'll probably feel that muscle engage. Okay, now put your hand where the arm meets the torso and rotate your humerus medial. That's the teres major. Teres major is also called Black's little helper. So that's a piece to get that shoulder to be free to reach from the spine. Those two. That's why that's up there. Trapezius, we've already talked about. A goal is to get the client out of using traps more into the lat. So trapezius is you'll see me working. The lateral neck. So remember, we're trying to stack up these blocks. So Grace, this is another thing I will say. In this session, it's really superficial, the neck work to get that head to balance more on top of everything. So it's really still spreading very lightly at the lateral neck and the cranium at the temporalis. All right, we're getting through this. Okay, trapezius. So this is another cool thing about the session and a strategy is to, if we're stacking up the blocks and we need to create length for that to happen, a really cool way to do that is to free the fascia of the whole spine. So we're talking lateral to the transverse processes. Does anybody know the names of these muscles here? The erectors. And up here we've got rhomboids. Good. Okay, so the work you're going to see me do is a new thing for you guys. It's called squidding with your fingers. And you're going to just squid these muscles going all the way down. And the goal is to create space in the erectors. Remember, these erectors are really interesting muscles. There's a lot of them. When you're really going to study those is session 6, which is the back session. But I'll tell you this much. They're attaching to the cranium all the way down into the lumbodorsal fascia here. And let's say that someone spends their life here. Well, what's going to happen is those erectors are going to spread and get stuck way lateral. So you're also, in addition to squidding, you're also bringing those erectors closer to the spine. Can you see how that would help to create that length up? So that's another thing you're going to see. Finally, all the work is ready. All that work was just to prepare you for the main event, which is freeing the 12th rib, getting it out of the pelvis. Okay, so up, drop down, and free the 12th rib. You'll see how we do that later. You're going to turn onto the other side, repeat the whole thing again. And then at the very end, we're going to just do a little bit of arm work. You're going to learn how to tell if a humerus is medially fixed or laterally fixed. Neither are good. What we want with our humeruses is equal rotation in both directions, right? So I'm going to teach you guys a test so that you'll know what the fixation is. If it's laterally fixed, you're going to work on the bicep. The other side then will be medially fixed. You're going to work on the tricep. So this is kind of where we get to try a little biomechanics. And it's just going to help the whole shoulder girl. Okay, so you'll see me do that with Catherine. And that is called humeral rotations. Before I do that is the anterior posterior arm, similar to what we did in session number 1. So any questions on goals and terrain? Okay.
When you do say like 1 side, you
Yeah.
get them to stand up again, like in
I
session
do.
2? Yeah.
I love it. It's usually something,
Yeah.
like, oh. And basically, I don't like them when they stand up and I've done half the body to walk around because their brain is going to try to discern some kind. It's very discombobulating for that body and coordination and their perception with their relationship to the environment. So I just like them to stand up just so they can discern the difference. And then get back down. And we'll do the other side. And then we'll do the arm work, get them up, and get them walking. And the goal in walking at the end is to have a walk that has freedom in the shoulder girdle. And Rolf has a quote that the shoulders go along for the ride. They're not doing all the work. We're basically getting people out of the muscles and into the fascia and bone. So, some other other strategies that I might say here is, I'm going to talk to you later about the serratus. That is very cool. There's a sky bridge at the top. I'm going to mention that word because I'll show you with Catherine, but there's a sky bridge way up here at the top of the serratus, where part of that muscle is going from the scapula all the way. It's like spanning the space over to the first rib. Like, you know, at Whole Foods, some of them, the big ones, have the bridge that goes across the whole store. You know, it's like a sky, literally, it's just like, and that can get really bumped up on people. And especially, who was it that said, my client, was that Mike or Quinn, was like this? Your client was like this. Sky bridge. You'll see, when you get in there, it's just like, oh, it feels so much better. All right, so serratus. So another thing we might see today is sticky ribs. So ribs, if my arms represent ribs and I'm a vertebra, ribs will side bend. They'll also rotate, but at least they're side bending. The one above it may side bend the other way, so we've got a sticky rib on one side and we got a big gap on the other. Can you guys see that? So if you feel that it's really compressed in the ribs here, that would be part of the work. You're going to learn a skill of just kind of getting in there and doing a little bit of like, almost like prying the two apart. But remember, that's a very small goal. This is very deep, these intercostals. When you get to session 9, I'm going to teach you a really great way to unlock these ribs. And it's not just, so this session is just a few little pry bars to get in the space, but later you're going to learn how to go all the way around the ribs. Cool. Talked about arm rotations. Okay. And the last thing is movement, transverse movement. How many of you know what the word contralaterality is? Contralaterality is a term that means that what your right shoulder is doing, so is your left hip in movement. Okay? What your left shoulder is doing, so is your right hip. And if it isn't, that's very bad. Very, very, very rare. That would be called homolateral. And so getting more transverse movement and creating space through here. Oh yeah, so this is it.
This is unilateral movement.
This is unilateral. And so the work that we're doing here, freeing the 12th rib, is going to bring in more of that transverse movement. There it is. So that the walk is a lot easier. The shoulders move close.
There you go.
So you guys have a kind of an overview of what the session is about. That's where we are now. We are also at the end of the superficial work, the gateway to the core, which is super cool. It's an awesome session. And any questions before I show you what the session looks like with Catherine? No more questions? Okay, you want to see it? All right, let's do it. Let's see, I'm going to use the bathroom and I'll be right back.
I think I will too.
Okay, that's a good idea.
2, 3, oh wait, don't do anything.
And you just visualize that line up. Most of her body is in front of the line, and there's a lot of compression happening. Okay, and then I will need one more pillow. Vincent, you want to grab that pillow for me? Yep, for the knees. Okay. Are you feeling cold? Do you need a sheet over your legs or anything? Not yet. Not yet? Okay, it's right here if you do need it. And if y'all just give me 1 second to put my hair up. Okay, this first thing is called a pretest of the transverse movement. My goal is to make sure by the end of the session that she has either more range of motion, or if I don't get more range of motion, I want to go for more elasticity. Elasticity is that the right word? All right, so here's the test. I'm just going to take her pelvis forward and her ribs back. And this is about the movement we've got here. And as I try to take her hip back, we just stop. It's a brick wall. It's not even that, it's a little elastic, but not enough. Okay, so my goal is to get these ribs up, to free the shoulder girdle from the ribs, get this hip down, and then finally at the end, I'm going to free the 12th rib. Cool? All right, guys, here we go. Because it's very bunchy here, the first stroke that's on your list is the lateral midline. But as I said in the booklet, I hope you guys are reading those booklets because there's more information that comes out of my mouth in there. But I am going to just do one stroke right here in the middle. Is everybody good with that? It's just an iliac crest. I'll be back here at the iliac crest later. Notice how also that I'm using my opposite hand as a little traction to give myself some room. Alrighty, here we go. Catherine, go ahead and just turn your tail under. Okay, good. And just hold. Good. And as I'm doing this, I'm just visualizing more space between her hip and her ribs. There we go. All right. Perfect. And then just relax all of that. Now, lateral rib cage. Let me just move this up a little bit. Okay, so you know what? It's going to be a little easier if you would, so here are my hands, if you will just scoot your whole body back towards me a little bit more. That's good. And bring your, there you go, that's good. I'm going to bring your head back. You guys, it's a lot like ironing. So you've got to get the body into a straight line where that they don't be. I'm going to try to follow this. Okay. Where her ear is over her shoulder, over her hip. So she's in a straight line right now. Most clients, when they get on your table, they're going to be out of alignment. So you're going to have to help them. Okay, here we go. Take your right hand above your head. Okay. Now, Catherine, just breathe into your side ribs. It's a weird request, but just direct your breath right to where I'm working here. Your ribs are kind of like Venetian blinds. So as you're breathing into your side ribs, you're thinking about opening the Venetian blinds. There you go, good. All right. All right, perfect. All right, let's bring your arm back down. And that was just a gentle opening up of the space. Just soften your whole shoulder. All right. The next step is going to be the pelvis. But because of all this bunchiness here, I just added a little bit of that track before I begin. All right, there we go. Go ahead and take your arm forward. Okay. So I'm going to first do above the crest. This should be very familiar. You guys have been here before, which is so cool. Now, Catherine, just gently turn your tail under. Great. And relax your tail. And relax everything. Now I'm going right below the crest. And again, just turn your tail under. Good. And relax your tail. And again, turn tail under. And relax the tail. This is similar to what you did in session 1, just clearing space. Good, and relax all of that. Here's her greater trochanter, and I have room for one more elbow here. Okay, go ahead and turn tail under. And here I am, my hand, the palm of my hand is on the greater trochanter, and I'm noticing the movement, right? We don't want a greater trochanter that is fixed. We want a greater trochanter that is moving. And what I do feel is it can move a lot easier forward than backward. How about some of that fan or something on? Maybe that, yeah, there you go.
It's not plugged in.
If there's a plug. Or we could turn, that's okay. It's getting hot, right?
Yeah.
Okay, you guys, so the next step is
Nope.
the greater trochanter. So I just noticed that it was really rolling forward. So I'm curious about
Okay,
her
try
greater
that.
trochanter. It is really sticky in the front. Remember, you guys saw that her pelvis tipped forward, so we kind of already knew that. So what you're going to do that's different than session 1 is just fall off that greater trochanter, right? And where I'm going is just in front of it. Catherine, please leave your knee on the table and lift your foot up about an inch, foot up. And that's going to activate the TFO. And now foot down. And as she's taking her foot down, I'm just spreading and melting that the TFL that is locked into that greater trochanter. Okay? Okay, good. Now, on this one, leave your foot down and lift your knee up. Okay, good. And then back down. And just pause. Nope, just wait for a second. This is very sticky too. It's all of it. It's all of it. Let me get you straightened out a little bit.
It's taken a long time for me to get this way. Yeah.
You did a great job. I mean, that's what's so cool about our bodies is they are adaptable. It's how we keep going, right, guys? I'm just cleaning all around this greater trochanter, and so I've done that, 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 and look at where I haven't done. You just get stuck in the fascia. All right. Great. Okay, now I need to we're doing the IT band work now. And I need to take a look at the IT band, and actually at the whole thigh. And when I look at her thigh from GT to knee, I'm kind of thinking of like the Oreo theory, right? The Oreo cookie, which is in your booklet. And the Oreo cookie theory is that we've got the 2 cookies on the outside and the white cream. The question is, what's happening with the white cream? And what's happening here is it's being pushed forward. So, if that's an easy way for you to see it, great. Otherwise, you're just going to look at the line, and what I see is there's way more material in front of the line than in the back of the line, right? And so sure enough, if you just want to feel the fascia, sure enough, this is very smooth and easy, but behind the line of the IT band, it's sticky and tense. And that's because that's how the IT band works. What it does is, it sucks into the center, okay? So here's what this looks like. It's simply spreading, and like I told you before, you could do this on the whole body if you forget what to do, and it would be an amazing session 3, right? So this is basically what it's gonna look like. I'm gonna put the line where I want it, I'm gonna anchor the tissue, and then I'm gonna make it stay. You're gonna notice that most of my work here is happening in the back. Because remember what I said, if it's pushed forward, the shorter, denser, tighter tissue is in the back. Sorry, it fell off. So again, you're going to put the tissue where you want it, make that line so it's even on both sides, anchor the tissue, and then you're just going to make that stay. Kind of slow moving. Remember, you're following the pace and the speed that her body is willing to let go in this moment. Okay, so it's getting better. I'm seeing that it's more even where I've worked. So here we go, just more of the same. Bring the line over. I'm going to anchor with my left hand, and I'm going to continue working with my right. All right, keep falling off your leg. Okay, keep on going. So it's a little different than session one. Session one, you got to free these top layers. These are layers that are underneath. You're always working at the next available layer.
So if it fell off, do you do it again?
Oh, you mean back here,
No.
when I just fell off? Maybe. But where it
I'm
fell
just
off,
curious. No.
I usually like to feather off and not like an abrupt falling off. So I did the work, but at the end, instead of feathering off of the IT band fascia here, I just fell off your hamstring. Okay. I'm still doing the chevron, I'm just choosing to use my bigger hand than my fist. Almost there. And it's the whole line, I was in the back. Some people, you guys will find, maybe you're in the back at the top and you're at the front and at the back. We're going to do some palpation later and we'll see what you feel. Cara, can you give me a time check? Like, how much do I have for the whole session?
What time are we? 1
At least-
o'clock?
yeah.
You have an hour and a half
Oh, I do?
left.
Nice.
Well, an hour and 25.
Yeah, then we could do some movement too. Okay, thank you.
I will alert you again at noon.
Thank you, yeah. All right. Now, I'm going to go back and just lay a line, just like in session one, after I just did that work to just reinforce what I've just done. And you'll find that it's so much easier to go through the IT band at this point after you do that work to get it more in the midline here. Very simple. Okay. Now, okay, obliques are next. So let's bring your arms forward and just stack up your body pretty easy. And I'm always checking to see, I should have done this to show you, but I'm always checking to see how much adaptability do we have in the pelvis. And pretty good right now. The ability of it to drop down is pretty good. Now, obliques. External oblique is sitting in here like this. Internal oblique is sitting in here like this. So let's start with the external oblique. I'm going to pick up the fascia at the midline. This is called the linea alba, just to use my anatomy. Now, Catherine, you lean forward, and I'm just going to pick up this fascia here. It's slow moving. So we know that there was a bit of a rotation forward on this right hip, and this is all kind of part of it. And just, so basically the client is leaning forward as I'm leaning backwards. So if one of us let go, one of us would fly, right? So if she let go, I'd kind of be in your legs. But it is very slow moving here, guys. So if you find fascia that's like this, don't worry. You're just kind of waiting, pausing. The client isn't even thinking that you're spending too much time, because deep inside what they're feeling is a lot. They're feeling it starting to melt. They're feeling it lift up off of the ribs, you know. So you may feel a little insecure just being stuck in fascia, but you don't have to worry. That's not what they're feeling, right, Catherine?
Right.
They're feeling a lot more than what you're feeling.
Yeah, a lot of melting here going through.
Yeah,
It's really cool.
it's cool.
Yeah.
But when I first started, if I got into something like this, I'm like, oh crap. You know, they probably think I'm doing nothing and all. But no, there's a lot happening under our fingers that aren't moving a whole lot.
I mean, it seemed a lot thicker the closer to the road you got.
Yeah, exactly, because of that attachments here. All right, and then it just kind of feathers off. Okay, internal oblique. What I'm going to tell you is that if the external's really slow, the internal's fast. On the other side, though, it'll be opposite. I still keep your body straight. I still am going to do a little bit here, but it's just not as sticky. See that? So you'll notice that too. So sticky going this way, not so sticky going this way. Just lean forward so I don't knock you over.
Okay.
But there's nothing really. Here's a little gluey. Go ahead and straighten your legs straight down towards the end of the room to just give some more space. Great. What's next on the list there?
Lateral ribcage balancing.
That's fun. So that was the one where we have so many muscles to think about here. We have the pec major. We have the serratus anterior. We have the, what else do we have? The serratus anterior. We have the lat. Okay, we even have some axillary work too. But what I'm going to do here is very basic, and it's very effective. Go ahead and bend your elbow, make a soft fist, and place your hand on your head. But keep your elbow kind of pointing to the ceiling like there's a little string just holding you up. So let's take a look at this. Like, I'm liking this better. I'm liking this better. But can you guys see what's happening here? Okay? So I already know that I'm going to need to really kind of bring this fascia back. Remember, this is a quote by Roth. Put the body where you want it. Keep that leg down. And make it stay. So it's a bit of a fight here, right? So I'm literally going to place my hand here and continue to just spread and take this midline back. Okay, here we go. So this is called lateral ribcage balancing. Every single person that you work on will be different. So here we go, make the midline and spread. My front hand is not doing much, it's my back hand that's just bringing it all back. Okay, that's done, and here we are. Okay. Okay, Catherine, take a breath into your side ribs. Okay, so now I'm really considering her serratus anterior, you guys. Her serratus anterior, it's the banana muscle. It looks like this. Here's the edges of it. It's also attaching back here at the edge of her scapula. So, yeah. So this is the moment when I would feel her scapula that is glued to the ribs. And I would educate my client. I would bring my skeleton over and say, your shoulder girdle is 3 bones, and it's all soft tissue. The only place that it's attached is here. So our job right now is to free this scapula that is literally, in her case, glued to that bone. So here's how I'm going to do it. Put your head down so it's straight. Okay. All right, so I'm going to pick up the slip in the front, and I'm going to just wait till it starts to melt. And I want to feel a relationship to the slip or to the attachment in the back, which is the medial border of that scapula. And Catherine, just take a deep breath. Okay, good, and a big exhale. Okay. And again, take a deep breath and a big exhale. If someone could bring over this skeleton right here, or I can just show you, those are the slips, or you guys can look at it. Those are the slips I'm talking about with the serratus. These are the attachments of the serratus. And it's pretty close to where the scapula is. And I'm just picking up every single one of them because where that red is where it's attached. Then the brain says, don't glue here, don't glue here, don't glue here, but it is. It's gluing. So we're getting all of that off and more adaptable. But I'm just walking up all the way up to the first rib.
Well, you're just putting the ribcage in the shoulder where you want it and spreading the adhesion.
I feel like I'm more just thinking, I gotta free this up. I don't even know where I want it. I just don't want it glued to the rib. So like I did this, so you couldn't feel this. So I did this one, nothing there, nothing there, nothing there, and you can feel where I stopped. Right? But I just, right now, I don't even know where I want it, except I just want more room. This is kind of what I want. But right now, I just want to free that serratus. Okay, so here we go. And I'm also looking for some kind of a response with that scapula. I don't want to work too hard because in a minute, I'm going to be working all of this back here. But here we go. You feeling okay?
Oh, yeah.
I could just spread, guys. But with this particular, I could just spread with you. I could spread with you. But depending on what's on the table, I couldn't just spread here. I really needed to get that serratus unlocked, which is why I'm doing it this way. I will teach you how to do this. So it's getting looser in that scapula back here.
You're going deeper too.
Yeah.
Which is good.
Yeah. We will be back at serratus again later. Now, here I am at the axilla. So even though I'm not done spreading, I'm going to finish my axilla work right now because that's where I am. And then I'm going to come back and we'll spread. The top of the serratus anterior, you just kind of place your hand here, right, pointing to the first rib. And now I'm just going to bring her arm down, nice and easy. No effort, no muscle. Okay, now, Catherine, and by the way, I'm never pushing into this. She's going to breathe me up, okay? Catherine, go ahead and just take an inhale. On her inhale, it's pulling me right up to where these attachments are. And now, Catherine, you just relax everything. Exhale and relax your whole shoulder. And what I just felt is that her humerus, her scapula, and her clavicle lifted up away from the ribs. But we have 2 or 3 more. Did you feel that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here we go. Another inhale, good. And then a big exhale. And on the exhale, you're just softening. I even just tap on the shoulder girdle so that they start to learn how to just start to soften. Okay, we got a little more here. Another one, take a breath, inhale, good, and a big exhale. Just a little bouncier. I'm liking where the scapula is starting to let go here. And honestly, with, normally I just do 1 or 2, but here's one more. Take another one. You just gotta work what walks in the door, guys, and a big exhale. There we go. What was it that Sophia said? The map is not the terrain, or the terrain is not the map, because the roads are going this way or whatever. But that's true, Okay, so I want to go back now and just spread and see what I've got. Bend your elbow, make your fist on your head again, but no muscles. Instead, just let a little string lightly hold you up. Okay. And now I'm going to create a bisecting midline. I'm going to place my hand here and I'm just going to spread. Just like I did on the legs. Midline. Yeah, I'm trying to reveal a midline that isn't there because there is no vertical muscle that sits there. It's all about relationships there, guys. All right. Good. Okay, good.
Axilla.
Okay, subscap and pec minor. We've been here before. This is just a little bit different. So you could actually bend your knee again for now and just put your knees together. Yeah, there you go. Okay, so for the axilla, what I'm going to do is I'm going to anchor the tissue. Okay, and now Catherine, your job is to just reach above your head. And I'm going to just anchor, try to stretch, anchor that subscap. And I would have just come off of it, but it's just a little gluey all the way down. I'm going to follow that edge. Whenever you find a rope, you got to follow it. So, and what happens is it just feathers off. Okay. Let that shoulder go. You good? Pec minor. So again, let your arm be like a wet noodle, like a lasagna noodle that's cooked. There you go. So that her arm just got so much lighter. Sometimes you just have to say the cue that resonates. Look at this arm now. I was fighting with her arm before. All right, here's the pec minor, guys. It's just like you did before. I'm going to take the arm forward till I feel the speed bump. I'm going to get up on top of the speed bump. Now, Catherine, let's bring elbow back, and now take your elbow up above your head while I'm anchored here. If you feel anything nervy, let me know. I'll stop. What I mean by nervy is there something sharp and shooting? Is there anything that's glued? The nerves can get glued in this fascia. Alrighty, come on back down. Alright, good. Alright. What is next? Shoulder tapping. Okay, place your hand here and keep your head straight. Okay, good. In fact, lift up your head a little. I'm going to make it even better. Okay, put your head back down. Now, Catherine, go ahead and shrug your shoulder up towards your ear. Okay. And her shoulder is kind of tracking a little bit forward here on this side. This is the right side. We saw that in standing. Take your shoulder down. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put my knuckles right on the head of the humerus, and I'm just going to fall off. I'm going to create a gate and get into my feet. Now, go ahead and shrug your shoulder up towards your ears. You're going to get through my gate, Catherine, but I'm just going to make it a little harder. So I've got my hand, I put my hand where I want that shoulder to be. And she's going to get through it, but I'm just going to make it straight. Okay, good. And come on back down and relax everything, okay? Okay. I'm going to pick one more. Steve will teach you a bunch. The one I'm going to use for Catherine is to take your hand straight up to the ceiling. And now reach for the stars. So you're going to go through the ceiling, up, 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 as I'm just tracking that arm straight up. See how my shoulder just helped her to keep it straight? All right, great. And come on back down. Okay.
Teres, major, minor.
So the teres, very interesting muscle. Because to find the teres, you're going to place your hand back here underneath the armpit where her arm meets her torso and on top. Then find right in the middle. That will be the teres major, teres minor. Her teres minor is about this big, and it really should be only the size of a finger. So it's too held. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to anchor that teres. Remember, the teres minor is a lateral rotator, which is why it's building up here. So I'm going to have her take her humerus medial. So place your right hand flat on the table. Okay, good. Now slowly slide your hand straight forward. And as she's going straight forward, I'm on that teres and I'm going backwards. Perfect. All right, good. So I'll take this arm, and we should already see a little bit of a difference. Yeah, so now we've got a teres major that's closer to the size of her finger. Teres minor here is between the torso and the arm. It's right here, okay? And it's a medial rotator of the humerus. So I'm going to bend your elbow. I'm going to hook her arm on my arm. And I'm just going to try to move her humerus. And it's pretty glued right here. What I'm going to do is anchor this teres, okay? And I'm going to take her humerus into lateral rotation, nice and slow. If anything is too much, let me know. Okay, let me just see where we are. Make sure you keep yourself stacked up. There you go. Okay. Now.
Trapezius.
Okay. So here we are at the trap. It's already a lot softer than it was. The trap work is basically very similar to what we did in session 1, except now we're carrying it down the back. Okay? So I'm going to hold her scapula in place, and I'm going to take this trapezius back and down. So the trapezius is a huge muscle back here. I'm also going to take and work on the attachment here to this back of this humerus. Okay. Good. Lateral neck. Okay, good. Now for this one, guys, I like to sit down for this because I feel like I'm not going to push as hard into her lateral neck. Very superficial when you're working here, and it's just like everything else we've done. We're looking to create more verticality, right? So in her neck, let's see what we feel. It's just kind of, her fascia is all going so much more forward. So I'm drawing a line between the ear and the shoulder, and that's exactly where I'm going to just place my fingertips very lightly. And all I'm going to do is just slowly take some of this fascia back. This part of the session is very proprioceptive. It's about your head is going to be in a really different place in gravity. Even though I'm surface, you guys, this is very sticky. Neck fascia is the kind of fascia that's confusing. It's going all over the place. It is something that you work one layer at a time. And even though if I was new, I'd be like, wow, what am I doing? Nothing's happening. I'm nervous because there's nothing happening. But deep inside of her, there's a lot happening, even though I'm slow and surface. So don't worry about that. You just stick to the layer and the speed that that layer wants to release. So the lateral neck, and I think it says temporal fascia. Yeah. So okay, so everybody feel your, above your ear, that's your temporal bone. There's temporal fascia there that you can feel when you bite down hard. You feel that stuff? And then you can open your jaw and you can start to feel it. So I am going to just, again, create in my mind where that lateral line is, and it's like telling her brain, this is where you're going to be in gravity when you stand up. Okay? Again, I'm not deep, I'm just at the right layer. How do you find the right layer? You sink down until you feel the tabletop. It's the next available layer. And I'm even going to work right up into that temporalis. It's the temporal bone, the temporalis fascia. Temporalis, right? Okay, and then I just go back and it's so much easier. Okay, now we've got the...
Rhomboids.
Okay guys, this is the fun part. For new practitioners, this will be very tiresome to your fingers. Give it a year. You just got to get through it. You know, your fingers will become harder. You'll be able to do this easier, but it just takes time. But I remember as a newbie, this was very difficult on the fingertips. So basically what we're doing here is we're going to take and squid meaning this. Okay? And we're going to squid. Here's the rhomboids. The rhomboids are right between the two scapulas. And remember, we just did a pretty good job of freeing that scapula from the inside. And now here I am on the outside. So here's some squidding. And it's kind of like, what do I want to say? Play-Doh. You know when you're making a Play-Doh snake and you roll the Play-Doh out and it gets longer? Same idea. This is exactly what this is. And Catherine, lean gently, not too hard. There's a perfect balance where you're not leaning too. That's too hard. So just don't let me push you over, but you want to be adaptable. You want to allow your body to move. There you go. Without me pushing you over too much. Here I am now. The next one is the erectors. So erectors, just follow this down. And remember guys, this is the key to making the length so the blocks can move back into place. Yeah, see how she keeps wanting to get long? She keeps wanting to adjust herself because her body's already trying to find that length. And now you just drop your arm forward, good. And go ahead and take your, remember how bunchy this was? I just keep having her take her hip down, straight down with your leg, just to get that hip to drop. So I have a little more space. Very, very short here. For the QL goes from the 12th rib to the hip. her 12th rib, you guys, is sitting right there, and her hip is right there. Not a whole lot of space, so I'm actually gonna just do a little bit of this kind of spreading, just to give me some room. Okay, Cara, what's next on that list?
Flip, the QL,
Yeah.
12th rib.
So here I am
You're
with
at
the
your-
QL. Okay, so guys, look at it. There is no space for me to work here, so watch what I'm gonna do. Take your right hand above your head. Good. And take your right leg straight down. Good. Now, I got a little space here, you guys. I'm just gonna do a little spreading here. Most of my work right now is happening at the crest as I work my way around this hip. You okay? Was that my nail?
Yeah.
Apologize.
The rest of you was okay.
Yeah. I know. I should have spent a little more time on my fingernails today. Okay, we're starting to get a little bit nicer line here. Okay, now for the QL, yeah, this was all buried. This is new skin coming out here. That was buried and probably up under her ribs still. All right, the next step is the main event. With Catherine, you guys, I'm gonna do one more stroke here to create a little more space for me. I'm just adding whatever I need to do. And Catherine, you just stay in that long line and start breathing. You okay?
Yeah, I can breathe better.
Yeah. Okay, breathe into your side ribs. It's like you're opening Venetian blinds. Good. Great, and see, I'm still trying to traction her hip down a little more so I have some space. And then I'm going to show you how to free the 12th rib. All the work we've done so far was just to get to the place where I can free the 12th rib. Okay, so I'm liking what I see. The way you find a 12th rib is this. Find the bisecting lateral line. Where you end up, this is going to be number 11. Cara, I'm going to show them on the skeleton. If you take it and go straight down the middle, where you're going to end up is 11. And then you're going to end up walking yourself backwards like a couple inches. And then you find the 12th rib. See that? But where you are in the middle, that will be 11. 12 is back here. Okay? So here I am. I'm finding 11. Now, you guys are going to practice this a lot. We're going to practice this afternoon, just finding it, and then you're going to learn how to work it. So this is how you find it. You walk yourself back and down, and here's her 12th rib. Her 12th rib is literally in the pelvis right there. Okay, so here's where my hand is going to work first. I'm going to sink in under the 12th rib. Catherine, you take a big, deep breath and imagine your ribs are Venetian blinds. Open up the blinds. And now exhale, but hold the blinds open while you exhale. So the fight is on the exhale. On her exhale, that 12th rib wants to come right back down where it was, and I'm not going to let it. Okay, I'm going to move myself back like an inch, you okay?
Yeah.
All right, go ahead and take another breath, like you're opening Venetian blinds. And then just hold the blinds open while you exhale. And I can feel that little struggle there, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to drop her hip. Keep your arm up unless you're tired. And dropping the hip means I am just taking this part of my hand, and I'm just going to kind of give her a little traction down. We have the room to do this now. Okay? Good. Now, Catherine, bend your knee and take your arm back in front, like kind of in front of you. Good. And I'm just gonna see where I am. So we have lots more movements, guys. This is exactly what I wanted to see. To reinforce what just happened, I'm gonna do a stretch here with her breath. This is not on the mat, but you can add it. I do this every session free. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna cross your hands, place the lower hand on the hip, the top hand on the ribs, and now, Catherine, just take a deep breath. And and take your leg down and your arm up. There you go. And just take a deep breath. Try to fill the space between between your hip and your ribs on the inhale, and then a big exhale. And this is just reinforcing the work that we've just done. And one more big inhale. Great, and a big exhale. All right. Good work. All right. And in terms of me, I'm just looking now, I have a better line through her whole side. It's going to keep unwinding. It's not perfect. It's never perfect. It is what it is. So now, go ahead and turn over onto your back and just lay flat for 1 second. I always let my clients just have a second to just lie down. They are already noticing something's different because the whole side feels different. But I also invite my clients to stand up and just not walk around, but just stand up to feel the difference in the two sides. Would you like to do that? Okay, so come on up to standing and just take your time, because sometimes it can be really disorienting because you're in a totally different place in gravity. Feeling it a little different in there?
You know, it just almost feels like the whole right side is just, there's something totally different than the left.
Right.
Like,
Even your eyes is
it's
different.
placed in space.
Yeah, it's placed in space.
It's placed in space.
And you guys, I didn't do that. All I did was find the midline, spread, make space, and her body the bones just came out and stacked up automatically. See? So we actually have an easy job, right? We just have to trust that the bones and the gravitational field will find its way wherever she's ready for. Now, if some of these scars are adhered to things, that will dictate what her line does. So we'll see how this unwinds for you.
And I keep working on that.
Oh, I'm so
Yeah.
glad. It looks better. It looks a lot better. Okay, let's do the other side.
My ears feel weird.
So yeah, your eyes are doing her right eye is high, her left eye is low, and it's almost like your whole
My
body
ears
is.
are weird, yeah.
Yeah, let's balance you out and then we'll get you. So sometimes when people are really sensitive, I don't have them get up because you already know it's going to be different and weird. But it's good for people to experience change unless they're just really like too disorienting for them. So I always judge. Obviously, I might or might not have gotten you up.
Oh, okay.
But because we're here, I'm going to get you the pillow. All right, so this time, I'm going to go back, but I'll get back there and show you. Do you need this or you want?
Sure.
You guys have any questions?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, I have a couple.
That's fine. Good, and that's good. Then I don't have to talk the whole time. See questions.
For the lateral neck, like when
Oh,
you're
yeah.
going down, is it like connect, like in friends, just trying to like draw parallels? Is it like when you connect the lumbar to the leg in session 2?
Oh, you like a relationship?
Yeah.
So,
Because it's like bringing
Yeah.
that connection down.
for sure.
Okay.
I love that. And then when you said going down, I wasn't going down. I was literally just straight and straight back. So the only thing when I went down, I was on track.
Okay.
But I'm not going to take the neck down, right?
No. Oh
Yeah.
no, I was just like you're going towards the ground.
Oh,
That's
towards
what
the
I
ground.
was
Okay.
imagining, yeah.
Okay, I was thinking down the ground. Yeah, that's right. That's perfect.
Okay, and then for the shoulder tracking,
Yes.
because so like you were up here and she was like lifting up her arm, and I noticed it was like coming in a little medially, would you want, is that fine, like, does that matter, or would you want it to be as, straight as possible?
What I would tell you about that is the arm work is gonna happen at the end, but that would be based on the rotation down here. So I should have, if I had seen that, I probably would have said something. But in the end, I'll get the arms, I'll be going down. One thing I did forget on the other side was her deltoid. No big deal, I'll get that at the end when she's off her back, but that's something I forgot. So the deltoid is a cap here, so after doing the teres, I should have put on the chart deltoid for next year. Okay, here we go. All right, take a breath. This side's already organizing itself a little bit better. I'm going to do the same thing and just start with elbow up to iliac crest. Okay. Oh no, let's start with a pre-test. Don't forget your pre and post test, you guys, like I always almost did it. So this side,
Oh, so now we're good.
yeah, so this side I have less movement really, less forward movement for sure, but also very little posterior movement. So we have this range of motion that is kind of locked in both directions. We'll just see how it goes at the end. Okay, here we go. Catherine, just turn your tail under and hold. And now, lateral rib cage. That first one, there's two lateral rib cage. One is just lateral rib cage and one is balancing. So the first one where it says lateral rib cage, you guys, it's just a very superficial vertical breathing, and the arm raises up. Okay, so Catherine, go ahead and take your arm above your head and just breathe. And I'm very surface here. Like my depth was like a piece of paper. Right at the skin. Alright, and that was just to start to loosen everything up. Okay, you could bring your arm back and just rest it in front of you. Now, iliac crest. Above and below the crest, and then around the greater trochanter and IT. Just relax everything. Slow moving here. Catherine did tell us, or maybe she told me, the left side of her sacrum feels very glued to the pelvis. And what that is her piriformis. And I can tell that the piriformis and up is very held here on this left side, which was why when she was walking, we saw her right hip go forward and the left was going backwards. Okay, and again.
It almost feels like when I'm trying to tilt my pelvis, the right side is tilting, but the left isn't.
Yeah, it's still pretty locked up at the piriformis.
Yeah.
I'll show you guys a little tip and trick when we get there. So we're there now. The piriformis is attaching. Does everybody know what the piriformis is? It's session 6 stuff, but it's here in the back behind your greater trochanter. And it's just sitting in here. Yeah, it's sitting in here really tight, and it goes all the way to her sacrum. So I'm just going to add like one little stroke right at the top of her greater trochanter to just help us unlock this. Okay. Partly I'm doing this because she told me when she came in that her sacrum felt glued there on the left, and partly because of what I just felt. Okay. So I'm just going to take it from sacrum forward. And it's just at the top. Here's her GT. So here I'm just at the top. This is where the piriformis is attaching. and that's better. So now, let's work around this greater trochanter. What we're going to find is all this material in the front is softer than the other side, and all of this back here is harder. So I'm going to start here, and Catherine, your job is to lift up your left knee, leave your foot down. Okay, I'm going to anchor the tissue, and now Catherine, take your left knee back down to the table. Okay, good. Okay, and again, knee up, I'll anchor, and you take your knee down. Just pause. I'm already starting to now think about that bisecting midline here. And it is just so short back here. Here's her greater trochanter, super soft in the front, but not soft at all back here. So I'm just trying to free that up. Here we go, Catherine, on this one, just lift up your left foot, leave your knee down. The reason I'm doing that is I want to take her femur into more medial rotation, and now take your foot down. It's glued to the bone here, so I'm going a little deeper. It's good for you guys to see stuff like this. This won't be part of your sessions probably, but it's good. It'll be in the back of your head, and you'll pull it out of your hat one day, you know? No mistake that you're seeing that. Okay, now let's look at this midline here. Okay, when I do the Oreo cookie test, this side's actually better than the other side. When I draw this midline, it looks pretty even. So what I'm going to do, there's no, like on the other side, I had to really bring those quads back. On this side, I feel like I'm just going to put my hand right in the midline and make some chevrons because it's pretty balanced already, and we're just going to release both sides.
Are you just looking at how much quad versus handy there is?
Like an Oreo cookie, I want to see that the white, on the other side, the white was way forward because her quad was way forward. So I just want to see this line. But here, when I draw my line, it just looks pretty even on both sides. That's why my chevron is going to be straighter. Or not straighter, but just from the midline out. As I start to work, though, I can feel that it is pretty dense here in the back.
Yeah.
It's kind of dense on both sides in a way.
Yeah. Left over from my running days.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, this is definitely going backwards in time. And sometimes as we release these outer layers, you start to find old injuries. And you find old patterns that got buried, and maybe you've had body work, a lot of body work, but these things, as we, keep going down those onion layers, right, we start to find, this one's just super dense back here, that's why I switched my hand, and I've just decided to go slower. There we go. See, and I can check, done, 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 oh, a little bit more here. And this is where, so, you want to feel this? Nothing here, nothing here, nothing here, nothing here, and then you can feel where I've been. And then it just gets real sticky. You can feel what I've done, you can feel where I need to go. There you go, that's about where I thought you feel the difference.
You have to get very deep to feel that's very superficial.
This is like called the if you peeled the skin back, this would be all that collagen stuff that's just under the skin, which is the glue. That's where we are in the superficial sessions of the 10 series, the skin basically, you know.
Having been back there, unfortunately.
I know, I wanted to feel that. Bad timing. All right, here we go. And as I'm getting closer and closer to the knee, you know, it's more dense here in the back. So here I go again. It's just, I gotta do a little bit more here.
Almost felt like a fashion knot or something.
Yeah. Well, what
It's
you're
not a little tiny thing, it's big.
So what she's feeling is called a shearing. And a shearing is when your knee, at your knee, your femur's going one way and your lower legs are going the other way. And depending on which way it's going, it's either your hamstring, low hamstrings that grip or your quads that grip. So you will often feel denser material as you get closer to the knee because of that shearing. And just keep thinking midline, midline, midline. And you can really see where you start and where you stopped. You gotta come back and keep going.
Maybe it's called 25.
And I'm going to just do a straight line. It already looks pretty good. And this is just kind of like an integration, just a little icing on the cake. Okay. Great. Now, obliques. Remember I said on the other side that would be opposite? So here's her external. See that?
Oh, wow.
Nothing there. But where we're going to get stuck is here in the internal. And that's because of what I told you guys, how when there's a rotation, we've got external on one side, internal on the other. So for the internal oblique, I'm going to grab the fascia and I'm going to take it back. Okay, so just gently lean forward. And I'm just going to pause because it's also, this one is also kind of gluey. And on this one, I am not thrilled about taking a lot of material in towards spine, so I get real light as I turn my fist around. And I'm still in the fascia, but you want to be sure you're not too heavy-handed. And you're also not really taking it to the spine, you're taking it to the hip. Cool? All right. Obliques, lateral, rib cage balancing. Okay, so this is the spreading. Okay, so this side's not as forward, but it's a little bit. So keep your head straight and your elbow pointing gently to the ceiling. So you guys are going to see me put it where I want it and make it stay there. Put it where I want it and make it stay.
And then just one. Most
of my work is happening happening in the back because the front's pretty like soft, and it's like pulled this way in this block. So I'm taking most of the material from the midline back. Here I am at the scapula, so it's time to do the serratus work. I'm going to place my hand around the scapula so I can feel it, and I'm going to just pick up these they call them slips, the slips of the serratus. And just bring it back, bring it back, bring it back, bring it back. Okay, good. And now here we are up at the top. Bring your arm all the way down. Now this is the sky bridge. Take a deep breath. Good. And I'm just following up with the breath, and you relax everything as you exhale and just soften. I see how I'm just tapping on the shoulder, scapula, humerus, clavicle to get them to soften. A few more here, Catherine. Take a deep breath. Good, and a big exhale. That's it. One more time, take a deep breath and a big exhale. Perfect. All right, we got the axilla, so go ahead and come on up. All right, so what we're going to do, that was the elbow. I felt that.
That was
Oh, that was up there. It wasn't your elbow. Okay.
It was the other elbow.
Yeah. All right. Take your hand. I'm gonna let go. You got it. And I'm gonna hold that subscap while Catherine reaches with her left hand above your head.
Oh, above the head, okay. I can go there. Maybe I can.
Just as far as you can. Okay, good. That's the subscap. Come on back. And just let everything soften for a second. Soften the arm. It's a lasagna noodle. Cooked. Spaghetti noodle. There you go. It's hard to let go of an arm, isn't it?
Sometimes it is.
Yeah.
It feels like it wants to pop again, but not.
Okay, put your arm down. And I'm just going to add a little deltoid. So this is the deltoid work, guys. It's just a matter of making it homogeneous. So most of the time it's too tight. Here's her deltoid tight here and then super soft here. And you just want to make it match. Okay? I would write that on your terrain map somewhere. Put the deltoid in. Don't forget to do this. And I would put it, I would say after the lateral rib cage balancing. It doesn't really matter. I just want you to know it doesn't matter. Just put it in there.
Probably after the work, that's what you just did.
Yeah, good. And that's when she was feeling it. But now we've got a deltoid that's a lot more homogeneous. Okay. All right, let's do the pec minor. So let your arm be relaxed and like a noodle. Yeah, and now it's easier for her to relax it. Alrighty, here we go. Now, Catherine, I'm going to anchor, and you reach with your right or left hand as I anchor the pec minor. All right, come on back down. All right, next we've got a little, take your arm, we've got a little shoulder tracking to do here. So let's watch you shrug your left shoulder up. Yep, and it also goes a little forward, so bring it back down. Good. And now, to find my place where I'm going to track, I'm going to have you put your head straight. I'm just going to fall off the humerus. Okay, good. Now, Catherine, shrug your shoulder up towards your ear. And as you're shrugging, I'm not going to let it go forward. I'm working more with my right hand. Okay, good. And now just relax everything. Okay. All right, and again, shrug your shoulder up. Great. And back down. Okay. Now, reach for the ceiling. in, now reach for the stars. Go through the ceiling, all the way up, 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 up.
Your body's in the way.
Well, I'm blocking you. You're going, instead of going perpendicular there, you were going too high.
Okay.
All right, let's bring your arm back down. Cool, come on down all the way. Teres major, teres minor. So again, the way I'm going to just find it is one hand where the arm meets the torso, one's my thumb, my finger's at the top, and if I put my little index finger right in the middle, this is going to be her teres minor. Her teres minor on this side is non-existent. See how small it is compared to the other side? What that tells us is that this left arm is medial, the right one is lateral, like this, okay? But even though it's nothing, I'm still going to say hello to it, because this is superficial fascia. Place your hand flat and slide your hand over toward the window. Okay, good. You can come on back. Okay, now the teres minor, teres major. Sorry about my dyslexic brain. Bend your elbow and just let your arm rest. So I'm going to anchor where the vertical meets the horizontal. Okay, I'm just going to give her a little bit more rotation here. This is called the teres major. It's last little helper. All right, cool. Teres major, teres minor, trapezius. Here we are at the trap. So again, the way I do it is I'm just going to keep her shoulder supported where I want it, which is directly under the ear, and I'm just going to take the trap back. Alright, now lateral neck fascia and temporalis. I'll get a stool. And I want you guys to sit to do this so that you don't put too much pressure on that neck, okay? It's a nice break in the session too. Alright, you're still drawing that. Where's the lateral line? Place your soft fingers with cotton balls on the fingers. And you're just going to gently come back. Now, remember how much fascia there was on the other side? Nothing here. So if there's nothing here, I'm not going to work it, right? Because it's already going in that direction. It was already rotating in that direction. So it's just a little hello there. This is a little bit more than the other, a little bit more than what I just felt in the neck, but nothing like what the right side was, right? Okay, here we are at the temporalis. Extremely slow. But that's okay with me because I know there's a lot happening deep inside. Now we have rhomboids. So we've already done a really good job of getting her scapula free because we did that serratus work. So now it's just a matter of feeling and making these erectors and rhomboids a little bit longer. Her shorter side was the other side, so I'm not finding a whole lot of build-up fascia on this side right now. A little bit here. She's got her legs straight down for me so that I have some room. So this part is a little tighter. This is her QL. Here I am with the quadratus lumborum, 12th rib, just getting some space for us. And so, like, how many times do I have to do this? Till it's free, till I can feel this. Come and, you were in the bathroom, I let them feel something. You just kind of take your hand through there. See, I just had to work till I could get my hand through the fascia. Okay. And now, feel this. Feel the difference? See how you get stuck? And so I'm going to go ahead and do one more right here. So I sink in. There's my depth. There's my direction. Pause. And wait for the melt. And then, so that's what you look for. I mean, that kind of thing. Okay, cool. Now, 12 rib QL. Let's do it. Okay, so first thing I want to see is where we are. So we're already better than where we started, just from that prep work, right? So what's left is this. Here is, if I have a straight line going down the ribs, right here, see that, guys? To find number 11, you go straight down the middle. To find 12, I'm going to walk my way back to here, okay? Now, here's the work. Catherine, raise your left hand above your head. And just breathe into your ribs like you're opening Venetian blinds. Okay, hold those blinds up and open and while you exhale. And my hand is actually moving forward because here I felt this huge, big fascial line. So now I'm going to go back. Here's the 12th rib. And again, breathe into your ribs like you're opening Venetian blinds. And then on the exhale, try to keep the blinds open. And now I'm going to drop her hip. Okay, good. And now, let's see where we are. Okay, bring your arm down. Okay. So much better. There's still, so I can go forward, I can go back to about right here, but I'm going to do one more, closer to spine here. So I find the top of her iliac crest, here's the rib, and we're going to get just a little more space. Arm up, leg down, Catherine, leg down. Okay, and now breathe it, arm up. Breathe and try not to stick your ribs out. Yeah, breathe into your ribs like you're opening Venetian blinds. Okay, I'm going to get under here. You just exhale, but hold the blinds open on the exhale. Hang on. And I'm going to just drop your hip. All right, bend your knee. Bring your arm back in front, and I'm just going to test it. And I love it. There's nothing stopping me. It's just easy peasy. Let's do the stretch just to reinforce it. And when you stretch, try not to stick this part of your ribs forward. So instead, yeah, there you go. Just stretch it out. And here's the stretch, guys. Catherine, breathe into the space between your hip and your ribs. Good. And a big exhale too. Alrighty, you good. Now, good. I like what I see. I see a nice line, so I'm going to have her turn over onto her back. And I'll take all the pillows out. You can either lay flat or keep your knees bent. I keep my knees bent. Just for while we do this last little piece, okay? All right, now, you doing okay?
Yeah.
Now, last part, it says posterior and anterior arm. This will look very familiar. You've done this before. So a lot of this session, you've been here, right? But the difference is now we're in a different layer, and also my intention. My intention in this session is to get her elbows to connect to spine. So I do it this way. Catherine, just take your elbow towards me. Yeah, okay. Did you guys notice? Do that again. Take your elbow towards me. Don't bend it. Bend your elbow. Well, bend your, okay, hold on. Just bend your elbow, yeah. She's doing that by overworking her shoulder. So every time she goes to work, you're overworking your shoulder. So let this go, and we're going to retrain her brain about her arms. And here's how. So let everything be like a wet noodle, okay? Now, this time, imagine that there's a cord or a rope or a line from the center of your spine. It's going to come out your side, and it's going to go through your elbow and out the elbow. So when you take your elbow out, it's coming from here. Try that. Yeah, there you go. Good. And you don't even need your shoulder. Okay, good. Come back. And what I'm going to have you do is do that a few times. Okay? You don't have to go that far. Just like a little, yeah. Okay, so, but before you do, there, that adjusted it. But you just want to be bones and fascia. So it's like you're the skeleton bones. Yeah, there you go, so much better. Our brains are wired to think muscle. Okay, you muscle, you do this. Okay, you muscle, you do that. But we're trying to change the brains into more fascia and bone. That's good, keep going. And as she's doing that, I'm just reinforcing it with working the anterior and posterior arms. So that when she gets up, she'll have this already in her brain. Okay, so that's the anterior. Posterior, you don't have to do the elbow. It's just like relax everything. Okay. You guys do this in session 1. We've all seen this. Take your elbow towards me, like 1 inch. That's it, that's enough. Alright. Perfect. And now bring your arm back down. And let it be like a wet noodle. Good job. Alright, let's do this side. Same thing. Let your arm be like a noodle. Okay. And then we'll do the same thing, like a fraction of an inch towards me. Yeah, just bones. Just bend the bone. Adjusting all over the place.
Well,
Okay. All right. Now, is that okay? Bring it up.
so far so good.
Yeah. All right. That feels okay on the shoulder to put it there?
Pardon?
Does this feel okay here? Is that
So far, so
all
good.
right? Here we go. Put your head on straight.
Mm-hmm.
And then take your elbow 1 inch towards me. Alrighty, let all of this pelvis relax, be a wet noodle. Okay, last thing I'm going to do is humerus rotations. So don't help me. Let your arm be totally free and relaxed. Good. Now, so what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to let her humerus drop in my hand, and I'm not worried about the fascia. I know her fascia can move. I'm wondering about the bone. How far medial, so this bone, this humerus only goes a little bit medial here, but what this bone really likes is lateral. Remember, her teres back here was really held. Let's find out what the other side's doing. So far, this is her lateral humerus. But let's see what I feel over here. Yeah, so this side, the bone doesn't like to go lateral, hardly at all. What it does like on this side is medial. So the way I would word that is, this is her lateral humerus, and this is her medial humerus, okay? Write this down. On the medial side, you're going to work the tricep. Make a soft fist with your hand, and I'm going to just bring your arm back like this. And I'm just going to do a couple little strokes right here on the tricep. So this is the medial. A little tricep work. All right, and let me see the arm again. And then just let your arm come down to the table. There you go, good. So I'm just going to test it. And now guys, see how I have better movement in both directions, okay? We're going to do something on this side too. On this side, it loved lateral. So on this side, the work is going to be the bicep. The bicep is attaching here, and it comes all the way up to here. So just nice and easy. I'm going to just do one bicep stroke. This is not more than one little stroke. And this is just kind of like a foreshadowing for the end when we do rotational sessions. Okay? And then let your arm go. And now we have more medial and more lateral in both directions. Okay, final wrap up. What we're going to do is I'll put this pillow, okay, keep your knees bent. Okay. Now, so what you're going to do, Catherine, is this is very gentle, just gently turn tail under. You're going to press your feet into the table and only lift your pelvis enough for me to get my hand under. Okay, good, and then slowly come down. And let me have your all of your weight. Just drop your pelvis into my hand. Good, and now you don't have to do anything. I'm just going to do a gentle reset. So pelvis, good, and now a neck release. So go ahead and rotate your head to the left. And stay over there. Good, and back to the center. Okay, and now rotate your head to the right. And stay over there. Perfect. Okay. Ready to roll your body up. Go ahead and roll to the side, swing your feet to the floor, and push yourself up to sitting. And then just take your time to kind of reorient to the world for a minute. And then when you're ready, have this body come on over to the bench. And just have a seat on the bench with your 2 feet on the ground. Get those feet. And the other side, so to get go nice and easy, and the other side is your sky hook, which is as cord coming through the center of your head all the way up to the sky. Let both of your hands drop, but you still have this two-directional, the down and the up. The back work today, guys, is chevrons heading from the lateral to the medial. Why? Because that's going to give us the up. Okay? So it looks like this. Now, you never want to cross the spinous processes. You're just kind of grabbing the fascia and bringing it closer to the midline. And she's doing a great job of having her body suspended from the down to the up. You got to make sure that your clients are doing that while you're working on the back. All right, I'm just going to go to the other side of your bra. Hinge your body a little forward. There you go, just so I can get in there. All right, now I'm at the QL, the 12th rib, just sitting below. Because where we're going, the next stop is the core, the spine. There's the sacrum. All right. The neck release and seated is you're going to put your elbow where the vertical meets the horizontal. And now very light. Catherine, rotate your head to the left. And when you get all the way over there, just drop your chin down. Great, and come on back. Okay, and again, rotate your head to the right. All right, great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And come on up and just see how you're feeling in there. Yeah, I love how her, my first stop is, before I even look at the sideline, is to look at the shoulders. And they just look a little bit more balanced. Maybe you could just stand and let them see the results. I'm sure not everything's done. But again, I let her go with love, knowing that I did exactly my job for session 3. And as her body unwinds over the next few weeks, right, we'll see where she is when she comes back. But every single body is different. Okay? And now maybe go over to the grid, right?